Hello, everybody. This is Indigenous Monstrosity. I know I haven't been around for a while. This is my second attempt at this video because a phone call came in right at the end and destroyed the whole thing. So I had to go start again. Okay, so I haven't been around in a while. I haven't made any videos because I've been making thumbnails and trying to finish some of my projects that I'm working on. I'm working on a cloth figure project. I'm writing my very first comic. I've been collecting comics in all through the 90s and the 80s and some of the 70s. And I've been I have this book, three composition notebooks that I've tied together that I call my Bible, that has over 10,000 possible characters in it. I say possible because the characters in there are not all flushed out, they're not all drawn, and some of them they might not even be viable. So that's why I say they're possible characters. And but I definitely have at least a couple of thousand characters that have a lot of descriptiveness to them, and then I can work with. All I need is 100, really. So it's not a big deal. So I started watching Ethan Van Sciver and your boy Zach and all of them come out with this Comicsgate thing. Uh, if whether I'm into the Comicsgate thing, I agree with them that this SJW thing is a terrible, terrible thing. I've never thought that I was involved with any of this SJW stuff because I bought all my books in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I thought I was exempt, but it turns out that Micheal Bendis, a guy who's mentioned in a lot of SJW comic books reviews, he wrote this book. And when I noticed his name and noticed his names were mentioned in the comics, I said, in the comic reviews on YouTube, I figured, wow, this could actually be an SJW book. I never knew what SJW really was about until I seen a couple of movies and a couple of shows like that Peppermint. Oh my God. It would have been a good movie if they just had this woman explain where she got all this ability from. But no, she's a soccer mom selling PTA cookies and all of this crap, and then the next thing you know, her family gets killed and she becomes a super marine ninja Navy SEAL chick. You never seen nothing like it. And then there's other shows that come on TV like this Killjoys that started out to be a decent story, but by the round time it gets to the fourth season, it goes heavy SJW. I'm talking about women hating kids. I've never seen this in my life on TV, but women actually hate children. And the men are so moist that they're the ones that's responsible. This is how crazy it is. The men are responsible for taking care of the kids, and the women are responsible for teaching them how to fight. But they hate the children otherwise. It's ridiculous. So anyway, this story basically falls right into that category because I see in these videos about SJW comic books that the characteristics that SJW books carry is that men are moist as hell, they're worthless as hell, inherently weak, and which was a problem that we saw for black men in TV shows long before the SJW thing. There are a lot of examples of inherently weak ass black men in TV shows such as this Killjoys. Oh my God. But before Killjoys, there was a very popular show who disrespected black men repeatedly, over and over. There's only one black man. They had like 8 or 9 black men on the show, and every last one of them are inherently weak. If you're a writer, you understand what I'm talking about. Inherent weakness is when the character comes in already displaying weaknesses. Nothing happened to him. When he's introduced, the character is already moist as hell. There's something about him that makes him so soft that nobody can possibly really truly like this character. Even if they make him likable, he's just so pathetic. So anyway, this is one of these books. The men are moist, and nothing happens in the book. Basically, there's no action. There's nothing really worth buying. It's just. But back then, let me see. The price of the books was $2.50, which is extremely, extremely expensive for my taste back then, because they went up really quick. It was like $1.50, and then the next year there was $1.99. Then it was like $1.25, then $1.50, then $2.99, and then it was pushing $3 real quick. And now I hear that it's up to $4 and $5 now. So it's extremely weird. But I'm glad that well, I guess that's one thing about this SJW crap. You'll see that a lot of this pricing has to stop. The overpricing of these books has to go down. But I'm trying to come up with mine. I've written my story, and I'm starting to design my characters. Well, some of them is redesigned, because some of them I drew years ago. I haven't drawn in years, and all of this is because I was taking care of my mother, and watching her degrade in health, I guess it took its toll on me over time. I was the only one taking care of her. But anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. This is the reason why I haven't drawn or haven't created. But since she passed, it's been 3 years. I did my mourning. I did my stint in grieving, or being depressed, if you can call it. I never knew that I was a depressed type of person, but I realized that I haven't been on my game. So seeing these videos from Ethan Van Shriver and your boy Zach, and this whole Comicsgate thing, it didn't really make me want to jump on the bandwagon as far as any SJW thing, but I definitely gave me a spark for my drawing and my creating, and I want to bring out my own comic book. So with some quality black characters and some quality characters all the way around, you won't see me using my characters as some social anything, or to point at some particular race and call them weak or anything like that. I'm not going to even try to do that on the down low. Try to secretly say, oh, this is why you're this. No, whatever political stuff in there that I put in my book is going to be to drive my story. It's not going to be to degrade or take anybody down, or to get revenge for any slights that I think somebody might have done to me and my people. No, it's nothing like that. So anyway, let's get to the story. It starts out that this character is coming into this world where you clearly see people who look like they're zombified. Something's wrong with them, highly. And she goes on to talk about how she's Maria Delarenti, and she talks about the rape and pillaging of a village by horrible events that took place, and how her sister had survived this turmoil, and it goes to show you witch hunters. That's probably where the story started. And these characters in this book, all of these women that they show on the cover, I guess they have already been established in other books. So saying this is a number one is distract. It's more than just disruptive or whatever. It's really misleading because the story really started in another book. And this book is really not a story at all. It's basically a rehashing of stuff, I guess, that's already been established, and basically say, hey, look at these characters, because the story is nothing. But she goes on to explain about how sister hasn't shown any responsiveness to her. She basically, let me see, imagine losing every single person. Come on, phone. Okay. Imagine losing every single person that mattered to you in one fell swoop. Fighting a fight you couldn't possibly win. The only surviving member of your family is a helpless little baby sister, Anna, asleep in a coma that has no end. What I couldn't wouldn't give for a simple smile or to cross her face, a whisper, but every day is the same, nothing. So it goes on. I apologize for my reading. It's getting used to this phone's adjusting to I have to get me a better camera if I'm going to be doing these videos. So she goes on to explain how she hates everything. She hates, and this is where you get to understand what the book is going to be about. It's about ghosts, witches, vampires, goblins, monsters, sorcerers, you name it. But especially, she hates the most are demons. And this guy is a demon. And he's basically saying, "Come on, come on." He's like this host of a celeb of a show, an entertainment show, and he's basically doing his thing, having a good time, and he asks if she's there from the monastery collecting, and she whips off her cloak and says she's here to execute punk ass bitches like him. And she says he's there for execution, and he says, "What, me? Moi?" Well, he doesn't say it like that, but he says, "Why? What? Why?" And then for these from here on, for 8 pages, it takes 8 pages of him going back and forth over and over the same thing over again, trying to tell her how much valuable he is. But he does it in bits and pieces, and every time he goes over it again, he adds a little bit more. I'm a very valuable person, and you're a strong person. This is your job. This is my job. This is what we do. Okay, this is my job, this is your job, this is what I do, and I have value for you. Okay, this is our job, this is what we do, I have value, and I collect certain things, I have access to certain things. Okay, I have access to these things that can be very beneficial to you, and they are these orbs, or these souls, I have access to souls. Or I have access to these souls, and I can be beneficial to you, and I have access to these souls that are for ultras. And she goes, ultras? Man, I skip a couple of pages. She goes, ultras? And he says, yeah, here's these souls that I have access to, and I can give access to you if you just spare me. And she says, the whole time she's saying, I have no use for you, I have no use, no deal. And now all of a sudden she says, hold on a second, because she was just saying how if she had that her sister, she can use the access to her sister. So that's what he's basically offering. I can offer you something if you just let me stay alive. So she says, uh, okay. And like I said, it takes all of these. This is everything I told you. I think that could have been done in one fucking 2 or 3 pages, but not these people. 8 pages, wasted pages. But I see why, because there's no story in this book. So he basically goes over and says, "Wow, let me show you, give you a little taste." And he drags her into this orb, and he takes her into this world of an ultra, I guess, and the ultra is is this woman, and does it say who she is? Come on, I don't think it says who she is. His name is Qualero, whatever. But I don't think it mentions. It might mention it somewhere. Uh, Topaz. Okay, she's Topaz, and she's evidently a queen of this realm. And they basically introduced this realm, and the realm is separated. The men are in this floating city, and the women are on the ground. And I guess the men think of the women as lesser beings. So she's on the ground, and then she's not explaining it. The demon and is explaining it to the angel. And she's walking on on the land, and she hears something, and she says, "Who's there?" And she turns around and sees a shadow in the bushes. "Who's there?" I said. And he comes out, and he says, "My fullest apologies. Um, I have no quarrel with you. When I saw you coming, I ducked down. I wish no conflict this day." "Coward," she says. She replies instantly, "Coward." So immediately you see the women are more aggressive, the men moist as butter, hot butter, moist as baby poo. I'm telling you, these guys. Oh, well, there's only one guy in here, so any other guys, they don't really dialogue. So he goes on to say, "Why am I a coward? No, coward. I simply gain nothing. I simply gain nothing from conflict with a peasant from Gwendor. From Gwendor. Dog, I am their queen," she says. "I was unaware. Our custom in this matter is very clear." Yes, so I guess he understands that there's gonna be something going down. But nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. She throws a kick, and he basically blocks that. He grabs it with her hand. He doesn't even block it. He grabs it from behind yet. He grabs the kick from behind. So this guy has some kind of skills if he can grab the kick from behind before it hits his face. She does she does some flipping acrobatics above or over his face, over top of him, and he turns and he's right on top of her, knocks her to the ground, and she flips over on top of him and starts wailing on him at least 3 or 4 times, and he basically pimp slaps her back, kicks her. She grabs out her weapon, and that's it. I did a fight. No, well, no, it doesn't. Yeah, there's a compilation here, which no, doesn't really show anything. And then she goes, "That's it." Is that it? She basically stops the fight and asks him, um, "Who are you? I've never met a man, met a male such as you. Not a man, a male." So uh, he retorts, I am of the chosen. I am a prince of battle from my city of Neros. May I go? Why would he ask someone he believed to be less than him if he may leave, especially if he got all of these titles? Why would he be asking her for permission to leave? Moist as baby poo. I didn't know. You didn't ask. Why are you here? What are you doing here? I came to this spot for the view. So he's there just for the view and peace and quiet. And basically from that, they just walk away. That's the end of it. Nothing else. That's there's nothing. Even when she's like interested, you think something might come of it. Nothing. That's it. It moves on to where the disembodied spirits are traveling around, and they come across this woman named Shuriken. And here's where it really gets bad. It turns into this 16-panel a page book. There's the splash page, and it goes on like that. 16 panels per page, which is ridiculous. This is one panel right here. Why are they using so many panels? That's one panel right there. Then they show the guy's face. Now let me cut that off right there. That's the way it looks. This is that. The other rest of that is on another page, but 16 panels. The elevator. There's no bing of the elevator. It's just the light comes on. There's no sound effect. They come to investigate. Shuriken shoots through the air, kills them. She goes on about her business right there. One panel right there. That could have been handled in 3 or 4 panels. Not 16. 5 or 6 at best. So, then she goes on to grab this guy up, and these guys all wind up in the ventilation system. So she moves on. Here's where it really gets stupid, because they're trying to show what a great spy she is, or ninja, or whatever. She comes to this vault, and she suspects that there's more to the eye than what you can see, and more to the situation than the eye can see. And so she pulls out this power, blows it across, and you can see all these laser beams across the floor. And you can see that the laser beams are coming from right down there, where there's these little holes for, you can see them. If this thing focuses, you can see there's little indications right there, where the lasers come out. So she blows this out, and then she does all this acrobatics, flipping over. She's so talented to be able to flip in between those laser beams. But if she's such a great ninja, she would have been able to see that right up here. You see this pipe? Look at it. How come she just didn't use her skills to climb over these pipes? Or even better, that pipe right there. You see? See the right there. The lasers came out right there at the bottom. You see where that pipe is? Right there at the bottom. She could have walked right across there. No problem. She could have saved her powder. She could have just jumped up. She could have saved all the acrobatics and just jumped up, climbed up there, and walked across. What kind of crazy... I just don't get it. So, Excuse me. Um, Here we go. She gets in. I don't know where she gets the card from. Maybe from one of those guards. She I think that's where she gets the card from. She breaks in and to this installation, and basically she holds this guy hostage and says she wants the theta virus. Child is sick and she wants the theta virus to help her. When they inform her, well, sorry, oops, you made a mistake because we no longer have the theta virus. We working on shampoo or some crap like that. They working on deodorant. So they're working on cold medicine. That's where it says right there. They're working on cold medicine, so they're working on NyQuil or something like that. You coming in for a super top secret cure for the theta virus, something that this theta virus gives. I think it can kill people. It doesn't really explain. Uh, well, it does later on. I think it explains that the theta virus can either kill you or give you all of these abilities, and I guess it's killing her child, so she's looking for it. And they show her the proof that there's nothing here. The project has been over with, and it's terminated. So they move on, and that's basically the end of this story. And the spirits are disembodied and moves on, and then they come to this girl, and this one is Amber Flint. I am Amber Flint, and she's basically explaining there's nothing here to this story. She's basically explaining how much what she thought considered power to be, and how power as a woman got her to make all of these weak men do what she wanted to do. As a cheerleader, she was powerful and get men to fight over her, and powerful, all of this garbage about her sexuality being used to influence men and all of this crap. And then she got this theta virus, and it really gave her all of these abilities, and now she's really the Miss Kick-Ass of whatever world Malibu created here, or Mr. Bendis created here, and well, it was garbage. There's nothing here. It's just basically a rant about how powerful she feels and how she went up against this creature, and basically nothing happens. This is just nothing. She's basically just happened how she went up against this creature, and that's it. At the end, it goes back to uh, the angel and the demon, and she says, "What, you trying to trick me?" And she didn't. He's trying to say, "Listen, I can help you," and she says, "What? This is not what you're trying to trick me. You're trying to play me for a sucker." Because he's saying he wants to renegotiate, and she basically not having it, and she kills him. She says, "I'm not having it. I don't need your favors," and she kills him. And basically, that's just the end of the book. It just says Finn. It says Finn. How could that be it? How could that be it? There's nothing else to any stories else coming out of this? Are you kidding me? It's Finn? Well, that was garbage. That's the first time I've ever read a comic book. Sorry, that's the garbage man coming through. But that's the first time I ever read a comic book that had so much of nothing in it. It was based on nothing, built on nothing, and nothing is where it went. To the nothingness is where it went. And as far as I'm concerned, it could die and stay there, because the art is only decent in a couple of places. There's nothing I don't think there's anything that I could have learned, except for like the beginning story, that I could learn artistically from this book. Like I said, in the beginning, the art was good. The cover is decent, but truly, Brian Michael Bendis has been around since the 90s, and SJW Books has been following him for a long time. So uh, I'm going to come out with some more books. I got some Tangent comics from DC, where there was the first black Superman came from. So I'm going to be doing some more reviews and to put this stuff up on my site, and I'm going to be trying to come out with a lot more comic reviews, classic comic reviews, and then I'll be showing off some of my work as soon as I get my studio set up so that I can draw and live stream. I'll be able to show you what I'm working on, show you some of my designs, show you some of my new work, and maybe get uh, show you some of my clay, show you some of my cloth work, which is coming along very, very well now. So, um, thanks for listening. If y'all follow me, I know I'm probably don't have too many followers right now, but if you do follow, please subscribe. Please pass this around. I'm trying to build this a channel and get it monetized. So help me out as much as you can if you like this stuff. Um, and I'll be back to you again in the future very soon with some more comics and some more art and some opinions of mine too, because I'm going to be doing reviews of some of these TV shows and movies and some old classic movies too. So have a good day, y'all, and like my stuff, subscribe, uh, pass it around to your friends, and because I have a lot to offer, in both mentally and artistically. So y'all guys have a good day.